Welcome to the Empowered Life podcast with Dustin Vaughn Warncke. Join Dustin as your guide to learning about unlocking your life's ultimate potential. Through inspiring conversations with special guests and proven wisdom, Dustin explores the interconnected values of personal growth, professional success, and a wholesome life filled with love and light. This show is based on tactical and practical concepts for life's greatest successes and achieving your goals, while also being full of inspiration to help you live your best life right now. Discover how to cultivate a mindset of empowerment, achieve success, and create a meaningful impact on the world around you, all while living with purpose, meaning, and significance. Dustin is a former associate publisher of Texas Fish and Game magazine, the author of over 10 books, owner of his own digital marketing agency, an outdoor TV show host, a video and podcast producer. And he will also become one of your best friends forever. Now, get ready to get inspired to live in gratitude. Here's your host, Dustin Vaughn Warncke.
Welcome to our podcast, my friends. My name is Dustin Vaughn Warncke, as our lovely announcer, Laura, just said. And I'm excited to be in front of you today, driving again, as I was the other day. Hands-free, of course. And basically just wanted to bring you a message that sometimes the blessings that we find in life are in the lessons that we find in life. In other words, the blessings are in the lessons. It doesn't exactly rhyme, but it is what it is. I was reminded of that somehow. I don't know if it was divine inspiration or what it was this morning, but started off a rough day and leaving where I just visited with some good news and kind of a new beginning in my life. And life is full of new beginnings, and you should embrace those. And I was reminded by the blessings and the lessons. Because that was the post I put on Facebook back in like 2022, I think, right when I released the last book I published officially for myself. And basically, it just reminded that because that was the last post I made the morning before the evening that I was let go from this position at this employer. There's a couple employers back, but I learned a lesson from that. I didn't know the lesson at the time, but I look back, and sometimes we look at things in our life, and how many times do we look at things in our life and we go, whoa, I needed to learn what I was taught there. And that may have been the worst thing that could have ever happened to me at the time. Seemingly seemed like that, but it turned out to be the best thing that happened to me. And I was kind of wondering, if you've ever had that experience in your life. Feel free to leave a comment wherever you hear this. If there's a place to leave a comment, or go on my YouTube channel or whatever where this podcast also exists and leave a comment there. But how many times when we think it's the worst thing that could have happened to us, and we realize maybe even years later that it's the best thing that could have happened to us? How many times has that happened to you? See, the one thing that people forget is that no matter what your belief system is, if you even have a belief system, God will sometimes break you to rebuild you into a better version of yourself. I was thinking on my drive, and I drive in the middle of the night sometimes to go to different places because I like to beat the traffic. How many times we go through our lives and we think that the world is just hurting us. I've got one client in particular that always says that the world is malevolent towards her, not benevolent, malevolent. Like there's an evil force that's against her, but she doesn't have a belief system. She is an atheist and doesn't believe in good or evil, but believes that there is a malevolent force against her, and it's been against her whole life. She wonders why she continues to attract negative circumstances to her life and to her business. And I've tried to teach her this lesson that I'm teaching you a number of times. And that lesson is that, kind of like the Einstein quote, that I've got on my upcoming book that I'm getting ready to release here pretty soon, once I get through a couple of other book projects for clients. kind of Albert Einstein's quote, and I'll paraphrase this. The most important decision we make in life is whether we see the universe as good or evil, or malevolent or benevolent. You know, if we see everybody's out to get us, or the world is working towards us. Our attitude towards our life, our attitude towards our future, our attitude is everything. And, you know, I kind of thought about the experience that I've had over the last year as we in 2024 and move into the first few weeks of 2025 when I'm recording this. This was a huge year. 2024 was a huge year of transformation. I'm recording this in 2025, but it's a huge year of transformation for me. And the reason why I think it was such a huge year of transformation was because I had an accident back in May that knocked me out of my workflow of what I was doing with a roofing company that I had worked for, just to kind of get insurance and just kind of like whatever, because I was kind of doing the self-employment thing before. I didn't think I could have the resources to make it and everything like that. And I kept on hearing this whisper in my ear from a divine, intelligent source that kept on saying, you can do what you've been doing for 17 years full time, paraphrasing what it said. And I've been the king of the side hustles for so long. You know, I've done things on the side. Sometimes they distract me from what I'm doing full time. But either way, I mean, I was like, it got to the point, especially this past year, where I could not control. I was so overwhelmed all the time with all this stuff that was flying at me all the time from these side project customers, as I called them. And I was like, I can't balance both a full-time job. I got to make a decision at some point. May 12th. 2024 changed all that. This was about midnight, driving by myself down a highway, our Highway 190 between Nolanville and Belton, which is kind of in northern central Texas. Texas is huge if you aren't from here. And so this is kind of north of Austin, between Austin and Waco, which is, you know, all south of Dallas, kind of central, like I say, north central Texas. And I was coming back from a place that it's kind of questionable that I should have been there. That's all I'm going to say. And I was struck from behind with a, probably a Honda, some kind of foreign SUV, like a black foreign SUV, mid-size SUV, not some giant thing. Certainly could identify what it was because I know the shape of vehicles. But I was hit probably at, I would guesstimate 90, 95 miles an hour while I'm driving 50, 55 miles an hour, maybe 60 miles an hour. But at least a 30 mile an hour hit from behind while I'm driving in the center lane of the highway. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And what happened next was that the following week, it turned out to be a hit and run rider. I ended up, going against my insurance company, hiring a law firm to represent me, because an insurance company typically will be your friend until they come to really take care of the final bills and everything like that. And if you don't go after them, sometimes even with uninsured motors, because this was a hit and run, they never caught the guy that hit me from the traffic report that I saw from the Texas Department of Public Safety. I needed some fair representation against my own insurance company, or towards my own insurance company, to represent me well. And so that just settled out. I just deposited the check. That's kind of a new beginning. It's not a very big check because of some other obligations I had to take care of. But either way, it was a new beginning because I was able to open a new bank account, and just a lot of really good things happened today after it really started out rough. Back to May. I ended up losing the hybrid role that I had with the roofing company that I was with as marketing director. That position got eliminated and outsourced to somebody else for whatever reason. They said I did a great job. Of course, I've heard that before. And then I was put as a project supervisor, which pretty much is a roof salesperson, but I couldn't climb roofs. My chiropractor and orthopedic surgeon and everything was sitting there going, you cannot climb a ladder. You are not allowed to climb a ladder. How on earth are you supposed to get on a roof if you can't climb a ladder? I was put on light-duty restrictions. So then they tried to make every accommodation between the general manager of the roofing company and the sales manager, to go with me on calls. So I just go in, do the sales presentation, all that other stuff. It just wasn't working. July of that year, last year, I was put on FMLA leave for 12 weeks or 3 months, whatever you want to call it. And I finally said, you know what? I hear these whispers every day just about. You can do it. You can do it. And I knew what that meant. I knew that I had to make a choice. It's kind of like the saying that I've heard many places, 3 frogs are sitting on a log and one decides to jump. How many are still on the log? Well, all 3. One decided to jump. He didn't actually jump, right? He didn't actually jump. He made the decision to jump, but he didn't take the action, the massive action that he needed to get off of the log and jump. I had to make the decision and back it with massive action. And as we enter into the new year and all these New Year's resolutions, I didn't really even make myself New Year's resolutions. I made myself goals. And if you haven't made yourself New Year's resolutions because you don't believe them anymore, and you know they're going to probably fall off by usually January, I think it's February 16th or whatever, is kind of like the national quitting day for resolutions from the New Year's. Create a new habit. Start small. Do something. And there are a lot of things in my life that I need to improve and change. So this is cathartic for me talking to you on the other end of whatever you're listening to. Because there are a lot of things that I have goals to change. But the thing is, I have to back those with good habits, because good habits backed with goals turn into good behaviors, and good behaviors turn into good changes and lasting changes, kind of like losing weight or any of these other things, quitting smoking, all these things that we make for New Year's resolution. It all starts with your habits, your decisions that turn into actions that support those behaviors and habits, right? So, that's one of the things that I wanted to share with you today. Was that accident in May the 12th, coming back from being at the wrong place at the wrong time, changed everything for me. And I'm grateful for it, to tell you the truth. I'm very grateful for it. Because the thing is, I wake up every morning from the neck pain that I had, the literal pain in the neck that I had from that accident. And I have herniated discs from C3 down to C7. They healed some, but not completely. They're still, minor herniations in those discs. And I'll probably live with that for the rest of my life. But you know what? I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I have that pain, that I'm alive. I'm thankful for that moment in time where my whole front seat of my vehicle, of my Chevy Silverado 1500, my dream truck at the time that got totaled from this guy that hit and run, probably drunk driver, is what I'm guessing. He hit me so hard, it was like getting hit by a freight train from behind. That my front seat went into my back seat, and my back seat went into my front seat. As far as the contents of the front seat going to the back seat, there was nothing in the front seat. It was all in the back seat, and all the back seat stuff, a lot of it spilled over to the front seat. Crazy hard hit. Okay. Herniated my left side of my neck and those bulging discs. But you know what? It changed my life. And at that point, I thought, my goodness, I have no truck now. Lost my dream truck. Definitely totaled that truck. It bent the frame and it bent the axle. For a foreign SUV to total a full-size pickup truck like that? Just think about the math on that deal, That was a massive G-force that hit me. And I don't know whatever happened to the guy. I pray for that guy. Because, he or she, whoever was driving, they probably hurt worse than I did. As far as after that and maybe permanently. But either way, you know what? Like the Christian song says, I'm thankful for the scars. The scars remind me, the pain reminds me of the progress I made and how my life has changed for the better. That's the perspective. And our perspective so many times in life becomes our reality. Don't miss this. Don't miss this. Our perspective becomes our reality. Our attitude shapes our perspective. Do not miss that point. Whatever you think is the worst thing that happened to you may turn out to be the best thing that happened to you. And the one thing that I've learned through all the turmoil I've been through the last 2.5, 3 years is that God's grace has always prevailed. God has never failed me one time. I'm a living testimony to that. And if you knew the whole story of all that I went through, most of it I won't share on this show, you will see that God's grace never left me hanging. And it will never leave you hanging either if you stay in faith and trust God's grace. There's a powerful message in this message, guys. And it's based around the word trust. Trust that the worst thing that could have happened to you may have been the best thing that happened to you, and you just don't know it yet. You're a champion. I want you to go forth into the world and be a light and a beacon of hope to other people. That's my Trojan horse. In the books that I write, that's my Trojan horse, so to speak, and the podcast that I put out. I want to turn you into a beacon of hope. I don't care about my fame and being all that other stuff. I that stuff's not as important to me. The important thing is the seeds that I'm planting in your heart to be the best version of yourself so you can serve the greater good. As it is said a lot of times in personal development, doing well while doing good. My name is Dustin Warncke. You can check me out. Dustin Vaughn Warncke, full name. You can check me out at all the places that it'll say at the end of this little podcast thing. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for telling a friend about the show. And just know the lesson is in the blessings, and the blessing is in the lesson. The lesson, if you're not learning the lesson that God is trying to show you, or the divine force, or whatever you believe in is trying to show you, the universe, if you're not learning that lesson, you're going to be taught that lesson through experiences over and over again until you learn it. And Saint Germain talked about that a lot in his life, and his teachings, and the teachings that he passed down, about the lesson that we learn, about the blessings of abundance that we have to affirm. And that walk of faith that I'm a part of with the Saint Germain movement is very much affirmations and declarations and making faith statements. Things such as, you could say these things to yourself right now. I'm going to teach you a couple of them. I am that I am, and there's nothing to fear. I am that I am, and there's nothing to fear. Say it with me. I am that I am, and there's nothing to fear. I am the resurrection and the light. I am the resurrection and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. Those kind of things keep me motivated. Those affirmations are great. Thank you so much for tuning in today. God bless you. Have the best day ever.
Thank you for listening to The Empowered Life with Dustin Vaughn Warncke. To learn more about Dustin, please visit his creator hub at dustinsprojects.com. Warncke Enterprises, Dustin's very own digital services company, can be found at businesswithdustin.com, and his books are available at either website or at dustinsbooks.com. Audio presentations of each of Dustin's latest books can be found on YouTube and streamed at no cost. Please subscribe to the Empowered Life podcast on your favorite podcast app, and thank you for your support and sharing this show with a friend.